My son bought me this great pie pan. It's made out of cast iron, and it's what is called a deep dish. So today we're going to do a deep dish apple pie. This is 5 pounds of fresh apples that we have peeled, cored, and then we've cut them into 1/4-inch pieces. We're going to add to that 1/3 cup of granulated sugar. Kind of spread that out a little bit. And 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour. Two tablespoonfuls of apple jelly. One tablespoonful of a fresh apple cider. Now, if you don't have the apple cider, you can use plain lemon juice out of a fresh lemon. It'll work just as well. To that, I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of ground pepper, and I'm replacing the nutmeg, which would be 1/2 teaspoon, to apple pie spice. I'm not a big fan of nutmeg. It can kind of overpower sometimes. So instead of using it, I'm going to use the apple pie spice today. And then take your clean hands and just mix that in a little bit. Kind of coat the apples with the sugar and the flour. This is a messy job, but somebody has to do it. Alright, we're going to let that set for 30 minutes. And off and on during that 30 minutes, you might want to come over and just kind of give it a gentle little toss. Okay, my apples have set for 30 minutes, and occasionally I have just sort of turned them over. As you can see, they're well coated with the liquid and also with the cinnamon and with the pie spice. I'm going to then put that into my deep dish pie plate. Just sort of dump that in there. Even them out just a little bit. And as you see, they fit up. So this is going to be truly a deep dish pie. Kind of turn them. You don't want the apples turned to where that they're going to puncture your crust. Okay. And to the top of this, I'm going to sprinkle 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, just sort of evenly over the top. As this cooks, it will caramelize a little bit on top, and the rest will kind of seep down into the apples. The apples this time of year are usually pretty good. You can use whatever kind of apple you prefer. A lot of people like the Granny Smith apples. On this one, I have used a Yellow Delicious. You can combine several apples, in fact, if you want to. All right, and to that then, I'm going to take 1 tablespoonful of butter. I'm going to cut that just in little pieces. Kind of place around haphazardly on the top of that pie. Butter always makes those apples just taste like they're a little richer. All right. Now, I also have my pie crust, which I cheated this time. I used a pre-made one. Gonna unroll that. Put it on the top of my pie. And I'm going to turn the edges under. It's going to hang over just a little bit. I'm going to turn that edge under all the way around. Now on a deep dish pie, you always like it to look just a little rustic, so you don't have to be real careful with that. Kind of turn that under, and then you're going to crimp it. And that's to try to keep any juices that might come out of that apple as they bake inside the pie. Much better than the bottom of your oven. There's one thing I hate, it's cleaning oven. Especially if it's a sticky pie filling. And we're just gonna kind of crimp that. And it kind of finishes it off and makes it kind of pretty too. Okay, I'm now going to take just a little bit of the apple cider that I had, and I'm going to dab that on top. Usually we use like a milk or a cream or an egg wash to make it brown. Your apple cider will do the same thing. You don't want it real thick to where that it is soupy in your pie, just enough to where that when that bakes it's going to be a little glazed over. Kind of look, make sure you've got it. Looks like that's pretty well covered. Not sopped, just covered. And I have here some sanding sugar. Now what sanding sugar will do, it's large flake. And if you sprinkle that like on top of your crust, it's going to make that crust really crispy. So that's what we want. We want a crispy top. Sprinkle that on there. We're going to bake this for 15 minutes at the 425. Then I will lower that heat on the oven to 350 and we will bake another 35 minutes. Okay. Gonna set our pie out there, let it rest for about 30 minutes and then get out the ice cream. Like and subscribe.